right,
upside
before we
down.
start with regular business, we have a few appointments. The first one is Cubb Property residents to discuss water and sewer billing. And there's a few here.
Can we be pushed back or can we get a hold of Richard?
It says it's.
Yeah.
Or is it connected?
I think it matters, it's
Oh,
upside
sorry,
down.
we're good.
Okay.
It's upside down.
No. Looks like he actually opens it up.
Whenever you're ready.
Mhm.
You want me to?
Maybe.
Maybe,
yeah.
please.
Oh,
Oh, there
sounds
he is.
like it's.
Are you on, Richard?
Can you hear? Hello? Can you hear?
Hear him for a second.
Yeah.
Looks like you see it.
Oh, mic is on.
Can you hear him?
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now? Right? I just hit it. Hold on. Microphone. Hello?
No.
Is it there?
You're brave to attempt
There he
this
is,
in
right
public.
And are you on mute?
Hello? He can
Yeah,
hear.
Are
There he
you-
is.
Can he see us? Did you
Can
on video?
start the video.
Yep.
Can start the video. Please see another setting. Oh my god.
No?
Well, as long as he can hear us.
Can you hear us, Richard?
Can you hear us?
Yes, you with the selectmen speaking?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, who am I speaking with?
Okay, hi, Richard, it's me, Mary Ann. I'm gonna turn you around so you can see the selectmen.
Well, is it
Or
is
they
the
can
video?
see you.
Can you see the video?
Well, I haven't got any video.
Okay,
On this.
all right.
Let me see.
Why don't you put that up like that on the table?
Brave New
If
World.
you can.
Camera.
Too many hands in the
That's
soup.
fine, so long as I can hear and speak,
That's,
that's
as
fine.
long as he can hear, then.
Don't
Okay,
worry
let it go,
about the
let
video.
it go.
Yeah. Okay.
Besides that, the videos, when you start the video, sometimes it makes, it stresses the Wi-Fi reception.
Okay.
So,
You guys are ready?
Yep.
Yeah, just,
Do you want?
So
what'd you
Richard,
say?
he's ready for you to open.
Can you hear?
I'm sorry, say again?
They're waiting on you now. Because they're up to us right now. We're first up.
do you wanna put that up on the table? by then?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Put it.
Here for a second.
They want to hear what you've got to say. Richard?
Shall I speak?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, okay, I'm sorry, the audio ran is a little garbled on my end, I apologize for that, but if you can hear me, that's fine. The reason that the co-op board is in front of you is to ask for an abatement of the flat water fee, that the park is currently paying. The co-op is interested in purchasing
I'm not necessarily have a question, but a concern whenever we have one of these requests come in is always the effect on the other establishments in town. We have another park that's a cooperative, and they have empty lots. And then you roll that into someone that owns an apartment building, come in and say, well, 4 of my apartments are empty. So what I'm concerned about right now is a snowball effect. If we allow this to happen, then the other park comes in and wants the same exclusion for their empty lots. And then an apartment building owner comes in and says, well, I'm only using 2 of my 4 apartments, so I should get an exclusion for those 2. So you kind of get into a snowball effect, and I'm gonna need to have some more background on that and see just how far this might go. And I know every abatement is an individual request, but once we set this precedent, it's a precedent that we must follow.
Just not trying to speak out of turn a bit, I know I just kind of walked into this, I got back from work, into this, but my personal feeling on it, where how you brought up the whole part, the other part, absolutely, that's the same situation, because what he's trying to kick across here is for a vacant lot of land that's being charged the water usage, where obviously there's no building there. Where when you brought up the apartment buildings, saying, well, I have vacant apartments, you're actually having the water feed being used inside that building. So it's actually, you're talking a difference of a building being used or not, the feed line being used, versus a lot of land being used. If you go through our area, the ones that are being charged for is actually, it's an empty lot where the water pipe stubs there, but it's not on doing anything. Is what the valid point he's trying to bring up.
Which I understand, but other vacant lots, if someone tears down a house and it's got a water connection, do we abate that? Which I don't believe we do, as long as that connection's there.
We do have 18 sites that are vacant now.
Yeah.
18.
What I would say is that I understand that if you grant this abatement, you could be possibly setting a precedent that would happen, as the first gentleman mentioned, a snowball effect. I'm not sure if there's a way to narrow the scope of this in order to protect the town's revenue stream. We all understand that the town has basic needs that have to be met, and we're just trying to find a fair and equitable way to let this deal go forward.
See, we as a cooperative would not be for profit, actually for the community, and affordable housing, and promoting that. And there is jobs always in this town. Trevidi is always looking for help. And here we have the ability to not take advantage of these empty lots in any profitable way, where another company comes in and buys our community, they're for profit. And we don't know who would come in, when they would come in, if they would come in. With a cooperative nonprofit, we want families in there. And this town has everything to offer families. 2 blocks down the road, we've got the huge park, a pool. We have employers in town that need employees. And we just want to work with our community and be able to have a little control over our families and that environment, where a for-profit business is just for that. I feel we are more than that. We can be more than that, but we need a break. Just to get the loans, to have this amount of money for 18 lots, it's a hard step to take up at the bottom where we are right now.
Someone with their hand up.
If I may, every utility needs to maintain its infrastructure. It needs to maintain infrastructure in a way that it can support attachments that may become available to that utility. So I just want people to consider that as you make this decision.
So we do maintain, the park obviously has that requirement, maintaining it from the main road. Everything in the park would be our responsibility.
I personally was gonna need some more information, so wouldn't be making a decision tonight, I don't believe, in my opinion.
No, I need some more time, I do too.
And, maybe we can see what all those different connections, the total is costing, the revenue that we will lose and stuff. We meet again 2 weeks, so.
I don't think we have to.
Yeah, they have till May 9th,
Yeah.
just so you guys are aware. They tight time frame deadline of May 9th to submit an offer to the current park owner. Not to, just. So you'll be meeting the day after that. Right. No,
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 week after,
Yeah.
17th.
yeah, so.
It wasn't by any means of our, that we're so late on it, it's just the timeline that we were handed us,
Could it be tried on an experimental basis and then see what the results show and adjust it?
The problem, if we make the decision to grant the abatement, we are setting a precedent.
Well, can't it be temporary? Why does it have to be permanent? Precedents, things change all the time.
It's just one of those decisions, that when you make it, it's a precedent.
I don't know if that's true or not.
So, I think it is. And definitely, if I was the other cooperative in town and see this granted, I'd be down here the next day and say, I want my empty lots to be abated also. So, I mean, that's what we're dealing with.
so we're trying to form a community, one community.
I wonder if it might be possible to work this out with some sort of a timeline attached to it. In other words, if you granted an abatement for some limited period of time for the vacant lots, that might protect the town a little better.
And obviously, if we have that ability to become a community, and we have Richard's help, and we're out there promoting our community with employers, who can we get more in this town? You know, good quality citizens with affordable housing. You're gonna have more taxes sooner than never. You know, these lots have been empty for a very, very long time. And now we would have the ability to improve it hugely and create housing and people in here. That's going to increase your taxes, and then again, you'll have water and tax sewer on it. That's going to increase. The more we get people in, more it's going to go up, rather than staying empty and just paying a flat fee to ourselves.
I've had 2 houses in this town as rentals, and when my tenants move out and I'm in between with nobody in the house, the flat rate stays on, the sewer stays on, and it's part of the game, whether it be right or not. I don't see why their empty lot would be any different than my empty house. And I encourage you guys, don't make a decision tonight until you get some information, until you do the math to see what it will cost the taxpayers. It's not fair to shift the burden over to other taxpayers. We have elderly people that are having a hard time paying their water and sewer. You shouldn't be putting that burden over onto them.
We're talking about Summer Street?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I personally am really delighted to hear that the Community Loan Fund is interested in that park, because that park has been pardon any residents who live there, but it's been a real mess for a long, long time. And there are a lot of empty lots, and there are empty trailers, and there's a lot that needs to be done there. And the Community Loan Fund is a great outfit. They've got the park up in Northumberland, they've got the one on Page Hill Road, and I think it's in the town's best interest to do anything they can to help the Community Loan Fund get this park set up as a cooperative and into much better shape. And then at some point, maybe some things can be changed. I still think it's a possibility of some kind of temporary arrangement, or as Richard says, time frame or something, but there's so much that needs to be done there, and it's anyway, very worthwhile.
Under a single ownership of the whole parks, they have rules set in place where me being one of the owners on the corner, they set so many different rules of not being able to do anything. As much as we want to do, we have the flood issue that we have on the corner there. We can't do anything about it because it's the park's responsibility with it, as far as that goes. Oh wait, since I moved in, I put my deck on, trying to redo that, but even then, the park didn't like it too much. We kind of flew in a gray area to get that through on the park.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone in town that goes by talks about how nice my place is looking compared to what it was. Me being on the corner of Forbes Street, right there. Everyone looks and says, I get the party deck out there now.
And at the other end, you've got the Dobson's trailer, which needs to be pulled out. And,
that's been, my understanding has been recently condemned, and then the other one there that's on the other side, right near them, has been recently condemned, needs to be pulled out. But
that's right.
From their side of it, any single owner with the property, they're going, well, it's going to cost this amount, the park's in a loss right now, and they just let them stay.
I really think if this park were cleaned up, you would fill it up pretty quickly, and then you wouldn't have to worry about this issue. All the other parks in town, I think, are pretty well occupied because they are affordable housing, and this one just isn't very appealing right at the moment. I've seen the work that you're doing, it looks great, but I can see how, there isn't a lot of incentive over there for that, especially on Forbes Street. So
yeah, Forbes has got the least amount of property there because of the two properties that were there, especially because the one that was condemned first, besides Dobson's,
Yep.
That one was definite. The one that was in there was, everyone knew him and was watching out for him.
Right.
And it was shying people away from everywhere over there.
Well, I think it's great that the Community Loan Fund is involved.
Aren't we looking for special people to go into these places? Are we going to take welfare people? You cannot deny them.
They're sitting there stating, trying to get the people to move in, put it out there. Obviously, it's going to cost so much for a trailer to go in. It has to be properly situated there, everything of that nature.
So there's criteria to move in.
There's going to be criteria for it to go in.
Paid for and supported by the taxpayers of this town, and also by the water system users and the septic system users, correct? And I would assume that the fees associated with that are based on the cost associated with operating and maintaining both of those systems. And I would assume that the flat fee is also somewhat related to that. So I would suggest if you do anything here, you consider reevaluating the flat fee that you charge for all those connections that are not being used.
John, have you been to that park? You familiar with it?
Pardon me?
Have you been to that park? Are you familiar with it?
I can't hear you, dear. You have the phone in your mouth.
Are you familiar with that park? Have you been to it?
No, ma'am, I'm not familiar with that part.
Okay.
I just understand water systems and septic systems.
And I'm saying if you,
And who's paying for that?
but if they clean it up and fill it up with trailers and people living in there, then those will be paid regularly by families.
And how
So,
do we know that the system then will be able to support those additional families in that trailer park?
What they have in the past. The flat fees that they're getting now, you're just saying you need that money to support the systems in place. Well, that's what it's for.
Well,
I'm not here to argue with all of you. I made my point to the board.
I just think you should go look at
I
it.
made my point to the select board. That's it. I'm done. Thank you.
I think you should go familiarize yourself with it.
It's not talking about the people going in, any of that kind of stuff. You're talking strictly about the usage of the water and the sewer. Speaking from the background, living in the park, where I was unable to be doing anything because of the handcuffs of the owner put on us, I know where I live personally. I know I had been by the house, and a couple of guys from the fire department, one time when the stream was over flooding, the stream itself was flowing into my sewer. So talking about pure usage of the sewer system, because of our handcuffs that we have on us, because of the single owner not wanting to do anything there, and restricting us, it's getting stream water, natural water, filling the whole sewer system. And it's not just my place, it's the places down the line that when the water comes up, it just flows in, strictly flows in to the system. I know when I was speaking with Ben that day, he was saying something definitely needed to get taken care of with that. Because it was overpowering the sewer system at that point, because it was just natural water, it was just a stream just flowing in like it was a drainage pipe. But with our community set the way it is, with the current, under the current owner guidelines, all that stuff, we're unable to do anything with it. So if more houses came in, but that situation was resolved in itself, the times of years when the water actually comes up, any of that, and it's not flowing into the sewer system, overwhelming it anymore, I feel the amount of water that was flowing in that thing can definitely take the number of houses that would go in on at least Forbes Street. So I can speak on Forbes' side. I know they're part of the Cubb side.
Does the, any other board members have anything more to?
No, I just need some time to get some numbers together and figure out what we're doing.
We really need this abatement for the financial, to get a contract in. Without it, you know, it's gonna go out to the bid, to people that are ready for the bid. And they're a for-profit agency, and they're not from this area, they're from Massachusetts. They're not part of this community. And if they raise our lot rents too much to regain anything they put into it, or will, or may not, maybe we can't stay there. You know, instead of gaining people into that part, it's gonna be a loss. Because there's a lot already in there that are elderly and on fixed incomes. We're 18 in there right now, we have 18 empty lots.
I have one question. Concerning that, when are those vacant lots you're talking about, are you also including the ones with the trailer sitting on them that are condemned and vacant?
Correct, there's two.
Okay, so,
Yeah, but both those frames, well, one of them is on Dawson, but he's still in town. So basically that family still owns that trailer. The other one, I believe, is, I don't know if you guys took it over last year or not.
Who's you guys?
the town, I'm assuming,
Who is it? We don't own any in the park.
right. So
So
we
whoever it was, it is.
we haven't taken any home in the park, so we don't own anything.
Okay, and Cubb doesn't own either one of them either.
My understanding is that there are 18 occupied homes,
Yeah.
two that are abandoned in the park. I'm not sure who holds the title on those. And then the other lots are vacant. So it breaks down to 18 occupied, 18 not.
Right, but I mean, I guess my question to that is that if there's homes on them, then that doesn't give much incentive to remove those homes.
The fees.
One of them would be knocked down. So
Right, no, I trust me, I agree, I think they
Yeah.
probably, and I haven't
Yeah.
seen them up close and in personal, but seeing them from a distance, they probably should be removed, but, if that decision is made, I don't think those should be included in that abatement, just because you're talking about vacant lots, those lots aren't vacant.
Correct.
Granted, maybe nobody should live there, but you don't have any incentive to work to remove them if you get the abatement.
That does bring up what I was talking about
Because we do
with an apartment.
Abandoned homes in particular, there would be demolition costs involved somewhere in the range of $8,000 to $10,000 a piece from what we've been seeing lately.
here, each lot is assessed $235 connection fee, is that what that is?
The base fee, yep, the unit fee.
So times that by 18,
16 now.
It's 60, oh, the 18 was included in the
Second.
original
Yeah,
one?
the 18
So
was
it's
included.
16 now, okay, so
Yeah.
another,
with the
I understand that there was some sort of major water project undergone in the park recently. But unless the park goes under agreement with the cooperative, and they get an engineering firm in there to do an actual inspection, we're not gonna know exactly what the story is with the infrastructure in there, until we get that report back.
just for the board's information, if it was the 18, it would be $4,230 per half, correct?
right.
So you're looking at
For each lot there.
basically $8,500 for the year.
Right. Okay.
But that's only while they're empty, right?
Yeah.
That's only while they're empty. And they want them filled, they have a big incentive to fill them, so it's not like it's gonna.
So let me throw this out. If the town gave a 6-month abatement, and after the 6 months' time passed, and you didn't put any more trailers in there, and we went back to the original, or would you rip out the services, or how would you do, you know? I think there has to be a time frame if you're looking for us to give something, when you're talking, what is it, $8,500. If we gave you 6 months to prove to us that you were going to put some trailers in there, and it went well, say you put 3 or 4 in there, and you came back to us and we said, and you asked to extend that a little bit, or give a little bit more help, I could get on board with some of this, but what's your thoughts of that?
Well, the first thing, I guess, would that accomplish what they need accomplished?
Richard?
I'm sorry, I'm not, I've got a very poor connection here, I'm not getting a whole lot of the audio. What was the question?
Okay, what I was thinking about is if the town gave you a 6-month abatement on these lots, and at the end of 6 months, we went back and revisited it, and you hadn't put any trailers in there in that time period?
I'm sorry, I'm not getting any of this, I apologize.
Okay. How do we make it better? And I'm close to you. But are you prepared for Page Hill Trail Park to be national scene? Well, and where I'm going at with this is they're here as a nonprofit, okay? Nonprofit. So this isn't a company coming in that's gonna own it. It's nonprofit. It all goes back, is that true, what I'm saying? That it goes back into the park? Okay.
That's the same situation you got up to Page Hill. That's-
And in Northumberland.
And exactly,
Northumberland.
I haven't been up that way, I don't know how they're doing. I went up to look at the Beaver Dam, because the water was getting high, but I didn't go in the park the other day. But they're non-profit, they're the same as this. Same as that. So therefore, they could come in and ask for the same thing. Are you prepared? Technically, they can. I know, it's a. I'm trying to switch connections here. But I'd like to be able to help, if I could, if the town could help. Is it better here?
Yeah, when it's here, just call me on the phone.
Can you hear better now? I want a different connection.
I guess not.
Can you hear me?
call him on the phone in a second. Chuck, can Richard hear you?
Can you hear me now? No.
Okay.
You're gonna get a phone call.
Okay.
Go ahead, call.
Yeah.
Shane, how the beavers doing?
When I get there, the dam is gone.
They're not supposed to park.
No,
They did 1 year.
Uh-huh, I wasn't living there then.
no. Now they will.
Hi, Richard. I'm putting you on the table next to Ben.
All right, Shane, that's a question.
All right, can you hear me now? All right. The question is, if we gave you a 6-month abatement, and at the end of 6 months, that you didn't put a trailer in there, what would that look like? We would have to go back to the original agreement. And if you did put trailers in there, then we would reevaluate it if the park was actually growing and, or filling up and cleaning up.
Gotcha. Okay. I understand this needs to work to the town's benefit as well. Yeah, so I would be hesitant to commit to a 6-month abatement, but if you could do maybe a 1-year abatement, I think that the co-op could show you visible proof of progress in terms of both cleaning up the infrastructure in the park and increasing the, reducing the number of vacancies in the park and increasing the revenue stream.
All right?
And I just wanna state the fact of, because I know notes are being made and all that, that whatever is being talked about here should stay on, under the terms if the co-op is getting it. Because of someone else being, if another private sale buyer got it, this is all being worked out for the co-op getting it,
And
not
that's where I was
private sale.
going with it, because it's a nonprofit.
Yes, that, I'm just saying for the record, if the private sale guy ends up getting it instead of us, being the co-op, this is null and void, this don't
Correct.
go nowhere.
Correct.
Right.
Just that way it's written in somewhere and it's stated there somehow. You knew right where I was going with it.
Absolutely, that was smart, thank you.
All right. I'll make a note on my end. Yeah, no, and we appreciate it. I think that the cooperative, if they are able to purchase the park, has the right to ask for, an exception that might not be available to a private investor who's looking to make a profit. As I said before, the cooperative model in the manufactured housing parks provides a very stable, affordable living situation we've shown decades of history at this now.
I'm not sure that I can go here. You guys got anything?
6 months isn't very long to get much accomplished.
No,
And
and I
you-
understand that.
And you know that.
When
But
you're looking at that kind of revenue, that's loss in the town.
when you're looking at saving that
Richard,
park.
you're back with the
Yeah,
support of us. with
I know, but
Housing
I've
is
got
such
everybody
a
else.
shortage in this state, in this area.
But I'm looking at everybody else too.
I understand.
And I'm trying to compromise the best that I can.
I would think if you would,
If the town were to agree to an exception for a limited amount of time, then I think that the co-op, as I said, would be able to show you progress, that would improve the overall revenue stream for the town over time. I mean, we're not just looking at, the town's not just looking at next year, they're looking at the next 5 years, the next 10 years. What's
I think as a compromise, like you said, everyone's hesitant to even just do this, but if we're gonna do it, I would say a 6 month with a review at 6 months, and then look at an extension of 6. I just hate to see us go a year with no progress, no.
Also, I mean, because frankly, what the cooperative residents will be looking at, their bottom line is going to be the lot rent in the park. And what is the acquisition by the co-op going to give their lot rent? And if they were granted an exception by the town, that would have a tremendous effect on their lot rent, at least initially. So then, if there does have to be an increase, and it happens 6 months down the line, at that point, it's graduated into the pro forma and the capital improvement plan.
Any other thoughts?
What I'm saying is I think that might work.
Someone?
Yes, please.
Let's just flip the equation for a second. Instead of talking about abating the cost, how about we accelerate sharing of the revenues from any lot that you fill? So instead of waiting for a year or 6 months to get, what is it, $420?
For the year? 470.
$470. Accelerate that payment so that you guys are giving something up and the co-op is giving something up. You're both sharing cost but you're benefiting from revenues that are accelerated. Just a concept.
Now, they're trying to make financing work.
Correct.
I got it.
That's what we need to pray.
I got it, but if they're successful at filling those lots,
Revenues are-
accelerating those payments, the revenue that comes to the town will soften your loss and make this succeed from both ends.
Yeah.
It isn't always just cost, sometimes it's revenue too.
Six months isn't really much time. I mean, can we commit as a co-op to just 6 months of a break and then all of a sudden we have a big bill again as a co-op and we don't have 18 lots for it? That's going to be huge. That means our lot rents need to cover what hasn't happened yet too on those empty lots.
But you understand, but if we just go a year, like I said, we get a year out and no progress has been made,
I understand.
then, so,
But if we
Think what-
have made progress, then say we get three trailers in
so,
there.
and that's,
Homeowners.
like
There
you
they
said,
are, right there.
if we go 6 months and we see some progress, I think that's what Shane is getting at. We see some progress, we see some cleanup. Maybe there's not a new trailer, but we see progress.
You're gonna see it.
Then we can possibly say, okay, I believe that's what he was getting at.
And that way I can sell it to Alan, that, okay, we've got tax revenue now coming in on that trailer, you know?
Right.
No, I'm just trying to be open for everybody, and I'm trying to satisfy you, trying to clean up the trailer park, make it a better place. I'm not paying any town water and sewer myself, my tenants pay it. Yeah. Okay, okay, they leave, but you're asking,
But see, we, people, we live there. And like Linda, she's been there 30 some odd years. And seeing all these people come in, Cubb included, this last one, oh, we're gonna put hedges up, we're gonna do, they did nothing what they told these residents they were going to do. But we as the owners, as a co-op, we live there. We have incentive, we have motivation. And we're all willing to work together to help each other.
And there seems to be a lot of that going on that end of town, with the cleanup of Depot Street, and now this is,
Yep.
I think we need to just keep it going.
Keep it going, yeah. And
I appreciate everyone's opinion, and I think there's a few key points I'd like to make. One is it's not renting property. It's not for profit. You don't rent property for no reason other than to either pay a mortgage or whatnot. As a town, we spend a lot of time talking about finances and revenues and streams and being balanced. It's $8,000, which any normal person is a large sum. If the 1 year allows them to get it, I'm assuming if you have the 1 year abatement, you can get the park. What's your reasonable likelihood of that? Like you're like fairly confident it will happen?
I'm hoping so, yes. I can't say fairly, because we don't
Own homes. That's what we're talking about, right? We're a small community in North Country. It's irrelevant how much it costs in this case. It's not a lot of money, and this is what I'm willing to do. I will donate the $4,000 to the sewer department to cover those expenses for the 6 months that they don't have to pay for it. If you're willing to give them the 6 months, they don't need to pay for on the town side.
Great.
I'm being serious. I'll write the check right now.
Appreciate that, I'm not sure that's where we're going, but
Yeah, I'm just telling you, I think
appreciate it.
that's just my opinion. Like, I'm a water user, I own my own here. I can't imagine a company like Best Buy coming and buying my lots. That's terrifying. I'd rather own it myself.
Yeah,
All right, guys, do something.
Thank you.
your idea, you wanna make a motion?
For how many months?
Start a GoFundMe.
I think it should be the 6 with a review at 6 and the possibility of going another 6. I mean, that's my opinion, if we're gonna do it at all. I'm very hesitant about setting this kind of a precedent, but
But this
it would be
precedent-
nice, it'd be nice to get the park cleaned up
This
and.
precedent has been set, if we do this, it's for non-profit. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the difference, not doing it for a company or.
Well, and you're
And
doing
that's
it,
what I brought up.
and you're doing it to enable them to better their position. It's not, so, yes, you can claim it being a precedent, but it's based on a specific particular circumstance, which isn't a precedent.
Excuse me, I mean, aside from just the financial aspect of it, if by doing this, you allow the cooperative to move forward, and if they are able to turn that park into something that the town can look at and be proud of, and have it be a part of the overall community, then, I mean, that's a win-win for everybody. And, you know, nothing to sneer at, is then the ability to look at federal funding for the town, based on the affordable housing that you now have successfully launched in the town.
You kind of got a two-way sword going with it, where you're talking about the loss now, on the current side of it, with everything. But if we were actually able to get homes in there, each one of us pays a water sewer fee on top of that, where they've been vacant for as long as I've been in there, 6, 7 years, that they've been vacant. Finally, that one that's on the far side, not the Dobson's one, the other one, finally that one I heard was condemned and it can come out. And I heard Dobson's is very close to it, of being done and pulled out of there. And then those two situations can be getting taken care of and cleaned up. But then, if homes are actually set there, then not only are you talking about getting back that flat fee that the park is generally getting charged it, but then the owner side of it is fees coming into play
It's
too.
an investment.
So then you're gaining on that number.
It's an investment by the town
It's
In the people, it is.
and people.
He's had his hand up waiting for
One more time, and then we're gonna.
On that statement, I'm sorry, when I looked at this agenda, I saw nothing about a nonprofit organization. So I firmly support what we're trying to do here, okay? I heard and read Cubb Property residents, not being a long-term resident, I don't know what that means, and I apologize.
At this point, does somebody wish to make a motion?
Ted wants to be heard.
Please take my deal. Give them the year, get it, I'll give you $4,000, I'll throw my card and I'll check it. Give them the year. And if someone else comes in for a abatement, it's not like I have to cost covered by a third party. If they want to put that to the table for a year, they can do that.
Wow, that covers it.
Right? You get your 6 months, they get their year, they get their park, they get the tax revenue in 5 years and price for it. We all go home with the cost per
That's
unit
great.
covered. And I can see better than I want to keep going on home for their own land.
Aren't you impressed?
Amen.
Just give them a year for God's sake.
Yeah,
Like I said, we're at the point where we need a motion.
give them a year, Shane, just get
I'll
on
make
it.
a motion that we give them a year.
Yeah,
There you go.
good,
For the improvement,
Yeah.
and at the end of the year, if there's no improvement, it goes back the way it was.
Okay, do I have a
Specify
second?
under the auspices of a nonprofit.
Yeah, it has to be, what, how'd you say that?
You can say you're giving it to Friendly Freedom Cooperative.
There you go.
What is it called?
Friendly Freedom Cooperative, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
DBA Indian Brook Mobile Home Park.
All right,
You got
That's
the
great.
information that you need?
Yeah,
that's
Ben.
good news.
you got it.
Okay. I've got a motion and a second to approve this abatement for 1 year.
Yeah,
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We were back down to 16, right? 16
I wanna see it.
occupied.
I really do. And
And 18
I've worked with Ben on mine, and when he says I make so much improvement, I'm right on the corner there of Forbes, right in the front corner.
See what it's
Well,
got.
I just wanna make sure, we got some momentum on that end of town, and let's just
Yeah,
keep it
yeah,
going.
well,
Absolutely.
yeah, great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks so much, y'all.
right.
I did.
Thanks, Ben.
Walk back there, my wife and I walk back.
All right, next on the agenda, Lucy Wyman to discuss planning zoning coordinator vacancy.
All right.
I was going for a nice one.
Hey, I'm gonna back up off
But I want to preface my comments by saying that this is all intended to work with you for the betterment of the community, and we're not trying to be antagonistic, but we care deeply, but we see some things that we think could be corrected and improved upon. So, and I'm going to start with suggesting that the board open the process looking for a town planner. Because we know the arrangement you made with Ben, he said that he would, take some time and sort out what his respective positions. But I think it's pretty safe to say that being a planner and a town manager together is a pretty overwhelming total package. And even if you take the town manager out of the picture, Ben's responsibilities and things he's taken on over the last years in his position as planner, which we thank you for, Ben, but it's been, I personally think, more than any one person can handle. And the list which is taken out of the town report is grant administrator, planning and zoning coordinator, emergency management director, correct me if I'm wrong, budget, he's on the budget committee,
No,
Weeks
no.
Memorial.
No, on the
not-
budget.
Okay, Weeks Memorial, Library Board of Trustees.
I am gonna get off that.
You're going to, yeah, but still, North Country Planning, Council, he's the rep now, and there's something else, there are 3 different.
Yeah, those other ones I'm actually not involved in. And
Well, they're listed in the town report, I'm just telling you.
And you told me to correct you. so
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
correcting
thank you. North Country Broadband Committee, North Country Scenic Byways Council, White Mountain College, Community College Advisory Board, Rotary Club Foundation, and in addition to that, in his position as grant administrator, Ben has completed some terrific grants, written some great grants, but they haven't been brought to fruition, and I think it's probably because he's too busy. I don't know, he can tell us more about that, but one is to digitize the town maps, that hasn't been done as far as I know. The town forest expansion plan, which is also sort of in limbo. There's a Riverwalk grant, which hasn't been developed whatsoever. And there are doubtless others that I don't know about, but enumerated, little understood or enumerated town loans and downtown development projects, and repayment schedules that I don't know who's in charge of all that. And there's a lot of stuff going on here that the public really doesn't know much about. And Ben, to his credit, has tried to manage it all, but it's beyond one person's ability. So it's my opinion, and I think there are others who agree with me, then now is the time to start looking for a good planner and find someone, and I'm totally aware that you could, you know what's going on, Ben, and together with this, other person who comes in who's also professional, it'll be a lot easier for you to sort it out, and we can move on with some of these projects which are important to the people of Lancaster. So that's essentially what I wanted to say tonight, and is to ask that you start that process sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Next item.
Rob Christie to discuss wetlands impact project mitigation funds and the status of his tax abatement application. There might be one or two other things, Rob.
Beg your pardon?
And then with your other, we're gonna bring up a couple other.
Yes. Actually, I guess there are 4 things on my plate tonight. First one is, Shane and I and various other people have been talking about mitigation funds when a project comes and there's a wetlands impact and some money's available to the community. And this isn't specifically about the Eversource D142 line rebuild, although there's some mitigation funds from that. But I've looked at the rules, and the rules say that the applicant, in other words, Portland Pipeline or Eversource or whatever, shall first consider permittee, that means themselves, responsible mitigation opportunities by determining whether on-site mitigation is practicable, and if not, getting projects from the Conservation Commission or the town, and failing that, then write a check to the Army Corps. And in both Portland Pipeline and the Eversource expansion, they sort of glossed over the fact that the first responsibility falls with the person who's making the application. And so we've looked into with Lori Summer at DES what sorts of projects are applicable. And so on the Conservation Commission, I've taken the position that in this case with the line rebuild, Eversource is supposed to come up with some possible projects. They've done this massive study of all the wetlands impact, so it seems like they could pull a $7,000 project out of somewhere. But I thought it was very interesting that the rule requires the person who's applying to supply some ideas, take some opportunities. So that's the report on mitigation funds. We don't know how much eventually will be coming out of the maps being laid down in the wetlands for a long period of time. But the point is that although we want to be prepared with the list of projects, it turns out that there's some responsibility on the other end too, so it's not all a burden for us. So the second thing was on my list is to have, I have an appeal to the assessment of my property pending, filed in January, and I see that the board has approved some assessments for 2020 taxes and appeals, and so I'm wondering how the progress is coming on mine. You are the assessing board, the 3 of you. What say you?
Well, nothing's coming down on your property.
Has he completed that?
No, he hasn't yet. He's working on it. He has until July 1st to submit his recommendations to you as the assessors to decide. I know he is working on it. He actually went and visited Mr. Christie this afternoon or this morning. So it is in progress.
Yeah, but this is an issue about last year, not this year. You can look all he wants this year. We're talking about April 1st of last year. So.
I answered your question, I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a matter of some concern so far.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I can't give you more than what the answer is. That's
all you can say is what you said.
And we rely on the assessor. We rely on the assessor.
Sure. I just saw that some other assessments, including the head selectman's property, have been judged on, and I wondered how mine was coming.
I know, I think Leon's was, and the garage's family's was, that began like last fall in November, and you didn't get your determination until, what, March?
Yeah, last month.
So, or April, whenever it was, so that's about four months, so sounds like you're right on track.
All right, well, that's the answer to that. Third thing is that we have, one of our members has identified somebody who might be qualified to clerk for the Conservation Commission. And, oh, sorry, Jake.
Can I just interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
Are you here with representing the board?
I'm the chairman pro tem.
Okay.
And
You have the board
well, listen, if you hear, let me say a few more sentences and then it will be clear. The board, the Conservation Commission, is allowed to hire a clerk. It's in our budget, $50 a meeting plus benefits. However, since that comes from the town payroll, our bylaws say that we have to present the person to you and ask for your approval to put that person on the payroll, which is why I'm here. So the person is, now, her name is, as far as I know, she has several names, Patty Ambrose, and she was a Carr, she's a Pratt now, but she signs her emails Ambrose, so. Anyway, somebody who may be qualified, she's gonna come to work at the next meeting. If you choose to make a motion to put her on the payroll as the clerk.
Do these people you mentioned, do they attend to meetings that you belong to?
Yes, the clerk
Okay.
does not vote.
Hire them then.
Yes, and the clerk's responsibility is to take the minutes within 72 hours.
And is this again, is this the wishes of the board?
Pardon?
Is this the wishes of the Conservation Committee?
Well, you're asking me, did we have a motion and a vote to get a clerk?
Okay.
Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking, if you're standing here asking for this, if the committee directed you to come here and do this.
Well, we haven't had a meeting in which to discuss it. We've been without a clerk now for 4 months. We have tried to hire a clerk for 4 months. It is our intention, it's not a motion, and if you want to, what do you say?
I'm concerned, Rob, because I understand there's another one of your board members that resigned again.
Well, that's the next thing on my discussion, so
That's my concern.
for that.
I don't know.
Are you trying to imply that Eric Livingston resigned because of something I'm doing to hire a clerk?
No, because I haven't.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I have not said that because I don't have enough information yet.
Okay.
But I can't make any recommendation tonight to anything until I find out what's going on in that committee. I mean, how many more times are we gonna keep appointing people that they get done? And I don't know what the problem is.
Well, you're not gonna have my problem with me either, pretty soon.
I'm just asking.
Okay.
I asked,
No motion.
I'm just
That's all I have to say about
asking.
that.
I mean,
But if you had a clerk, then you'd have minutes.
correct. But
So then you'd know what's going
But
on.
we have meetings that sometimes people aren't in place, and people do write down minutes. You get a temporary person on the board that's already there that will take those minutes.
Well, the way we've been doing minutes recently is we've been either recording it on video
Okay?
or recording it on the Zoom meeting.
Okay.
The last time, the Zoom connection failed about 10 minutes in, so we didn't have any minutes, except what we can recollect, and we didn't have a clerk.
And that will
The
happen.
advantage of having a clerk is that the clerk can be the clerk, doesn't have to participate in the meetings. So,
I'm just concerned about it, that's all.
But they're gonna need a clerk anyway.
okay, well, I think that's off the subject. My question is, could we have the approval to add a clerk to the payroll of the town or not? It's within our purview to hire him, it's in our bylaws, it's just a matter of.
So, maybe try this. We have a meeting on May 10th.
Okay.
Can we personally fund somebody out of the Lavoy Family Foundation?
Ted will do it!
At the May 10th meeting, we vote on it and we bring it to you on May 17th. Will that work for everybody?
Perfect. No, that worked. Perfect.
Cool. Okay, thanks.
That worked for you?
Long
involves benefits through the town. So she can't privately fund town positions. So you figure it out. All I know is we need a clerk, we're entitled to hire one, they have to go on the town payroll. It was easy when it was his mother, she doesn't do it anymore, so you guys decide what to do. Oh, I'm sorry, and the fourth thing on my list is that I got a text message from Eric Livingston today, who was 2 months ago appointed to the commission. He told me it was not for him, and he was resigning.
Yeah, in his resignation, it doesn't mention name.
That's correct.
He dropped that out at the town office today.
And he said to me, it's not for me.
No, that's fine, like I said, it's been going on now for quite a while.
You know, I'd like to invite you to come to our meetings. You're on the second Monday.
The other day.
Huh?
I was thinking about that, just to
Please
attend
come.
and sit there and see how it all goes.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay,
We'd love to have you. It's very helpful. Troy will be there too.
the,
Well, you can ask Troy for travel.
I don't, just a second, I don't believe there's any benefit package with that job. It's $50 a meeting, cut and dry.
Yeah.
No, Gene Olson was paid, Social Security and FICA and food or whatever they are. It's
Well,
$50
that's because it's payroll.
That's payroll, right? Yeah, that's payroll.
Well, all I know
This,
is we gotta get approval. Well,
Yeah.
wrong word. You approve it or not, that's all.
Can I go back to mitigation issues? If the town needs one, I'm gonna recommend one. Can you flood-proof the skating rink? So that when we make ice, we don't have to count on the Israel's River to wash it out and cause us a 2-week delay in getting ice again. I mean, it's the case, I mean, and there may be others in town, but just have a pocket full of mitigations, and when there's cash there,
Well, and that's what we and Rob have been talking about. Unfortunately, we hadn't done it.
right. But I'm just saying that there may be others.
Yeah.
You know, I'll get my wish list going.
how about the trailer park?
You can move Mount Prospect anytime you want.
And here attached to this.
Rachel?
This is the,
Yeah.
this is Keene's list is on here from DES.
Yeah, you sent me something, but it didn't come through.
Oh, well, here it is.
Yeah, all of a sudden, but here, look at this.
Well, did you look?
Well, I couldn't find it.
Should be on page 2 and page 3. It was actually sent to Ed Millette up in Northumberland and then forwarded down to us.
Okay.
And then Rachel asked for
You guys don't say now?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak in support of Kathy Jean's suggestion, and here's why. Our bylaws, our operating procedures say this about the appointment of a clerk. Shall be recommended by the commission and appointed by the Board of Selectmen. The commission as a whole should have the chance to discuss what I'm sure is a very fine applicant, but not
How about the only applicant?
but not a single member of the commission. So as a member of the commission, I think it's transparent and respectful for the whole commission to have a chance to discuss this applicant.
Old business, we have the minutes from the April 19th meeting.
Got a motion to accept the minutes, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I've got a motion and a second to accept the minutes from the April 19th, 2021 Selectmen's meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it. Hey, you can't vote.
Okay, department head update, just a few things.
Charity.
So department head updates. Next June, the department heads will start coming to the select board meeting. In the first meeting in June, it'll work out. I think I'll have like the public works people come, mainly because Tim Billadu will be hosting our contracted engineers who are going to present to the select board the, I think it will be, I don't think it'll be the final, but it'll be our asset management plan for wastewater and stormwater. So they'll give a rundown of that whole process, so that'll be a good opening for them to be here. Probably highway will be here too, and the transfer station, I'm not sure who else, don't quote me on all that. Say that for the camera. And then probably the second meeting, I'll probably look at more of the public safety stuff, fire, EMS, police. I'm not sure who else will be intermixed with that. But that's how we look at that. But so starting June, and they already know that they'll start doing that. Just so you're aware, that asset management plan will identify the amount of monies that we should be putting aside in every decade for the next 100 years. So it'll be quite staggering. The other thing is another kind of department head update. We had our underground storage tanks inspected last week. They're getting on to 25 plus years old, and our inspector, Tanner Hill, out of Sheldon, yeah. They said we need to start looking at the possibility of having to replace those at some time within the next probably 3 to 5 years. So that'll be an expense that we're going to need to start planning for. Another department head, I guess, update. We did Friday morning. We held a staff breakfast at the fire station. We invited all the departments to come. I guess that's something we used to do quite often, and we hadn't for a while, so we thought it'd be a great opportunity. The fire department hosted it, and all the departments were represented. Not everybody was able to attend, but it was a really good showing, and I think it's a good way to get everybody together and create some good morale. We're hoping maybe in the summer we might do a little cookout type thing, burgers and dogs for lunch one Friday afternoon or something. Again, just to get the departments together to kind of network and realize we're all real people with other stuff other than slinging dirt and pumping poop. So that's the department head updates, and you'll get better ones starting June. We have paperwork to sign. Timber tax warrant for Brenda Stewart. Tax totaling $2,566.86. And that's for a cut happening on Stebbins Hill Road, just around the corner from Buffalo Road. And there's 2 places for you guys to sign. You'll see the markings. Please. And we also have a current use application for a Lionel Barrier and Sarah Ferry at 49 McGarry Hill Road. They purchased another property on McGarry Hill Road that they want to add to their already current use land. It's about acres in the parcel is 1.62. And there is one place for you guys to sign on that. Recommended by Jason. And it's merged, it'll be combined with 4 or 5 other lots.
So it meets the.
Yeah, yeah. The other lots it's merging with for current use reasons are in current use already. That'll just add to it. We have a few solar exemptions, all recommended by Assessor Jason Call. First one is for Rachel Stewart and Kate Hartnett of 14 Governor's Terrace. And they're marked where you need to sign. And basically what that is it's an exemption that the value that the solar adds to the property is not included for tax purposes. We don't encourage solar, renewable energies.
Do that. You know that, Lucy?
Well, no, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think so.
Just one out, that one place, yeah. Then we have a Matthew and Christy Wells of 7 Winter Street. John Tolman of 275 North Road.
These are all solar, Ben?
Yes. I think that's the only exemption we have for renewable energies. I don't think we have any other ones.
You'll be on next meetings. It came to me today. I recommended for approval.
And then David Plantier and Holly Benson of 12 Blackberry Lane. Oops. Slip of fingers. And we have a couple of pole license requests from Consolidated Communications to place, one is to replace an existing pole on Garland Road, and one is to add a pole along Garland Road to service a residential property. It's being developed as a residential property. And these you guys have to, if you want, make a motion and approve them. You can do them individually. This first one is to add the pole on Garland Road.
Did you have a comment on poles?
Yes, I do. It's my understanding that cable companies and companies like Consolidated are obligated to pay a franchise fee to the municipality on the order of 5% of the gross revenues. And I'm wondering what is the current scale of the 5% that's paid by Consolidated or whoever to the town? What is the dollar amount of that? And where does the money go?
I don't know if that is part of our current agreement with
I
the
don't
cable company.
So I have a question. All the poles in the state are being sold by the end of the year, right? Eversource is taking them all over.
That's good, that makes sense.
So there'll be no multi-owners and districts, so everything's gonna be one company for poles.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that makes it, it is, it's gonna make it a lot easier. Plus, we already passed that assessing thing, so it's a flat rate.
I know, Rob, that's something, to answer your question, I don't have that answer, and I haven't been able to find our franchise agreement, but that is something that Chad Philly is gonna.
This is where I got it from.
Yeah.
Chad says that's part of, and I looked it up, it's apparently part of the
Yeah.
utility regulation.
So he said, I've tried, I haven't found it, as I've hunted around, but he said he's gonna help me track that down, and then hopefully I can get that answer for you sometime.
Right.
Yeah.
If they haven't been paying, they should.
So we had to make a motion?
Yeah, that's to add one on Garland Road.
I'll make that motion to approve that license to add the pole to Garland Road.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
So right on the front, you'll see. And then this is the replace one.
We have to make a motion.
Yeah, please.
second to approve the pole license for the pole replacement on Garland Road. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Next item is the paving bids. We received 2 bids for the paving of, I believe it's 4 streets in Lancaster. It's Blackberry Lane, Robin Lane, Fletcher Street, and Richardson Street. We received a bid by Pike Industries and one from Jay Hutchins. Pike Industries came in at $157,456, and they will do everything. They will grind and grade, and get everything ready and then pave over it. Tim Brown and the crew doesn't have to do anything. Hutchins Inc. Presented a bid for $161,090.25, and we would have to do, Town of Lancaster would grade during the reclaim process and fine grade prior to paving base, so we would be responsible to grade. So one is higher and we have to do more work, one is lower and we don't have to do much, which is right up our alley.
How come Railroad Street isn't on that list?
That was the list that was presented.
That is brutal.
I know it is.
And it's heavily used.
I know it is. I use it every day.
Do you know what happened to School Street? Because that was on the list last summer.
No idea. I know that there was a plan, but I don't know what happened to it.
School Street seems pretty secondary.
Well, they did a patch. It works pretty good.
I know there was some money that we thought we were gonna be able to use, but I think it turned out we couldn't use it.
Railroad Street.
Would you consider changing that to Court Street?
Court Street.
Sometime?
No, come on, history, Peter, history.
History. Too old for that history.
Now I lost my train of thought.
Pike Industries is the lower with less
Lower,
work.
yeah, we need to,
Make a motion.
make a motion.
I make a motion that we accept Pike Industries bid to do the paving on Blackberry Lane, Robin Lane, Fletcher Street, and Richardson. I'll second that. That's it, road.
I know, it
Street,
should be
right?
street,
Yeah.
it is.
Got a motion and a second to accept Pike Industries bid for the paving. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
I will bring up, I probably should have brought it up under the department head update, but since we're talking paving, Tim Brown and I are gonna meet, we set up a meeting, I don't know who's gonna show up, on Wednesday at 5 with the residents on Richardson Street, because that street is a little, has some drainage issues as far as how the water sheets off the road and on the other side of the road. So we sent a letter out to them offering, Wednesday at 5 to meet, so we can go over some stuff and lay out some plans. And if they couldn't make it, to contact me, we'd arrange other options for that. So we are reaching out to those property owners, so hopefully we do it with little complaint or issues. One other piece of business that came in a little bit late, goes back to that warrant article about the water tank, the proposed water tank at the water treatment plant. So we are getting close to submitting the grant application to Northern Borders, and the select board needs to approve a resolution giving permission for me to sign the paperwork necessary to do that. And I can read the resolution. If you guys like it, you can move it, second it, approve it, and then you'll have to sign. Well, probably Leon will sign it as the chairman. But it just says, the town manager, Benjamin Gagens Oleson, be and hereby is individually authorized to submit the application and sign all forms associated with the Northern Borders Regional Commission Grant Program to receive up to $1 million of NBRC grant funding for the town of Lancaster Water System Improvement Project, including a new storage tank, PRV, and other upgrades as may be needed, and to take other actions as needed to apply for and accept any such funding that is awarded. If we are awarded the grant, we would hold a public hearing for you guys to accept that, as is typical. But this basically just gives me the permission to sign the paperwork and send it in.
I make a motion to do what Ben just said.
Accept the resolution.
Accept the resolution. I'll second the resolution.
Got a motion and a second to accept the resolution to accept the Northern Borders grant, or allow Ben to sign everything for it. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All
few building permits. Gary Rexford, 33 William Street, to remove an existing attached 20 by 26 barn and replace with an attached 28 by 32 single-story garage on slab. Meets all the setbacks. Adam Loofbury, 80 Rowell Road, install a prefabricated 12-foot by 24-foot utility shed on skids, which will be placed on a crushed stone pad. Meets all the setbacks. No conditions. Owner Roy Ingerson, applicant Blaine Hartland Jr., 34 Ingerson Road, construct a 12 by 12 enclosed addition on piers to an existing mobile home. No conditions. Meets all setbacks. Olin Garno, 21 Bunker Hill Street, to construct an 8-foot by 12-foot storage shed for storage of personal items. Meets all setbacks. Ilma Gallio, I'm sorry, Ilma, and Ronald Fontaine, 87 Gore Road, to construct an attached 2-car garage and sunroom on slab. And Eric Livingstone, 6 Grandview Drive, to construct a 12-foot by 16-foot deck on piers over existing patio. Meets all setbacks, and those other ones I might have missed saying they meet all the setbacks as well. I'm sorry. I was on the wrong. So that's that. There is, we do have to go in a non-public session for an issue at the recommendation of the town's attorney. And I had him kind of lay out the process for that, so I don't know how you guys wanted to run that, if you wanted to see if the public wanted anything, or we will have to come back out here afterwards.
One brief update on the schools.
Before.
Yeah, so last Thursday night, we started the organization for the Carol withdrawal. We have 180 days, October 26th, to put this together. We're gonna meet on the first and third Thursday of the month at 6 o'clock at White Mountain Region. The chairman is going to be Herb Randall from Lancaster, and he will handle all press and all kinds of stuff that's happening with this as we're working through it. It's going to be quite an involved process, so I will keep you informed.
Is there some requirement for the town of Carroll to set up a school district if they withdraw, even if they just send their kids to Bethlehem on a deal?
Yes, there is. There's RSA for that.
So it's not a freebie for them?
It's not going to be a freebie. I mean, they can't just pull out and just tuition kids here and there.
Right.
well,
Does anybody know whether the other districts will accept their students?
we haven't got that far. We organized the other night, we went all through all the rules, huge thick packet, working on it. It's gonna be quite a process, so, I can tell you right now, anything happens, Lancaster gets the lion's share of this bite.
Gets the cost.
Yeah, cost, yeah. When that 2.1 million goes away, we're gonna feel the sting in Lancaster.
But this
if it ever happens.
It's not a foregone conclusion, right? As you just said, yeah. It's just being investigated.
We're gonna, recommendation, you'll probably go to a warrant article in March.
For all the towns, or?
Depends on how it comes out.
Thank you.
But I just wanna give you an update, because it's huge for our area, it really is. So, nobody seemed to know the rules back from 15 years ago, so.
Does anyone else from the public have anything real quick?
I have a question to ask the new town manager. I'm glad you're sitting there.
Thank you, sir.
Because I can talk to you.
Good.
That's a big difference. Have you found anybody to take your place where you was before you moved out?
No, I haven't. I've kind of to Lucy's point, I had thought that I am, after the 4 weeks of doing both, I'm encouraged to make a strong effort to seek somebody. I've had several people express interest in it. Whether they would fit the qualifications, what we come up with, I don't know, but there'll be a process in place. But there's been several local people that have expressed a
Do they have to have a certain degree for this job?
I didn't. So maybe they should.
But are you,
That's one of the problems, we haven't set the parameters for it
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
And we also don't really have a good job description of what we want the person to do. So that's what we're working on now. Because we don't wanna hire someone, then all of a sudden the job is different from what they were expecting.
Right.
So we really wanna get that job description and what we need for requirements for it.
Planning's pretty well recognized position. Planning is pretty well recognized parameters. I mean, each town is somewhat different, I'm sure, but are you gonna put it out for resumes, or are you just gonna decide you're gonna, what,
So
no?
What we would do is we'd advertise, we have to advertise it in-house anyways for a couple weeks. I don't foresee anybody in-house submitting anything, maybe, who knows, but, and then from there, it would go, and maybe even simultaneously, to speed things up, we could place it in the newspaper, put it in NHMA, have North Country Council throw it in some of their stuff, so we would try to widely advertise it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, oh, I'm sorry.
What would the specific process be in forming the job description? Do you meet, is that a public meeting, or is that a working session that you'll have?
No, I think what it would probably be is, I mean, since it's a personnel issue, it would be my responsibility to come up with my thoughts and ideas for it. Mainly based on what I know about the job, because I've done it for the last almost 12 years. And understanding what I'm potentially, what I would be taking from what I used to do to now what I am doing, and what am I leaving in that office, and then maybe what we could, how we could make that office even better for stuff that I probably might not have even had any opportunity to.
So as the town manager, you're essentially the hiring person. This isn't the select board.
Right, it'd be like me. Right, it'd be like hiring it'd be a department head, so I'd be, right, similar to hiring the water sewer superintendent, the highway foreman. I mean, there would be some assistance from, what we've done in the past for hiring staff is that I get a committee of staff members together. And I think that's an important part of it too, because I want them to fit into the group well also, because I think we have a great group of town employees. For the most part, we get along very well. Obviously, you know, doing these breakfasts and lunches, that's another way to help foster that goodwill and camaraderie. So I want to make sure that they come in, that they're going to fit in well, and you get that input from the people that are going to work with them. Because it's kind of, all the other departments are you know, you got Tim Billadou in the water sewer department, and Tim Brown in highway. They do a lot of the kind of the construction stuff. The planner should have some, should work closely with them as well to develop some of these planning issues, help them plan ahead as far as their infrastructure stuff. Same thing with fire. Exactly. Capital improvement plan. So there's an awful lot of back and forth, so it's important that everybody works well together. So,
good.
But thank you, Ray.
Executive board would meet this person if you, of course, you do the hiring and the firing, I know that, but the rest comes from them.
So I'll tell you when I went through the process to get my previous job.
Yeah.
There was I remember a few. Ed was on one of the ones interviewing me. There was a select board member, and I can't remember which one. And then there was the chairman of the planning board at the time, and there was one or two others, and I can't remember exactly who it was. So it wasn't the whole board, because then it would be a meeting.
I believe it was one select board member, and I think there was one department head, and I can't remember
who it was either.
And then maybe one board member.
There was I know it was Steve Young. He was the chairman of the planning board at the time. And I can't remember who the select board member was or the department head. I just remember Steve, Ed, and I just remember the other two or three that they were there, but not who they were. So I would imagine one of them would be on that committee, the interviewing committee.
Yeah, wish they should.
Yeah. Yep. So, like I said, we do have to go into non-public session. Shane has a little script that
One more thing.
attorney told us.
I have one more suggestion, Shane. Yeah. If I appear and say something about the Conservation Commission, you have a question about whether I'm supposed to or not, please ask the select board representative who attends the meetings.
Okay.
He can tell you.
Okay. Fair enough.
You want to do that so we can move into...
And we're going to leave the room. We're not That way you guys want to
We
stay.
can party here?
Huh?
We can party here?
Yeah, walk out when you leave.
Yeah, whoopee.
Bring in the band.
I make a motion to enter a non-public session in pursuant of RSA 91-A3, Title 2.
Roman numeral
Roman
2.
numeral number 2. And pending, what's that say?
This is my writing, I
Yeah,
apologize. I apologize. So Shane's trying to make a motion in a non-public session pursuant to RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2, parentheses E, as to pending litigation. All right. And Charity's coming with us to keep
Do I
minutes.
have a second?
I'll second.
I got a motion and a second, go into non-public session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.